Hi there. It's Tom and Tom podcasting in a manner to which we are accustomed. I can't tell where Tom is anymore. He's great.
That means I'm in some random location.
Is that what it means? It's like a blurred his background. You know where I am. I got the green screen going. I might even put up my cheesy background on this video. We'll see when I go to mix it down at the end. Today, we're going to talk about something that is happening a lot lately. But it's always been a thing. And that thing is turnover.
Yeah.
Employees are often changing jobs for one reason or another, and people and companies are often changing employees for one reason or another. So there's kind of motivations on both sides of the equation for people to move. But before I talk about that, I'd like to, because, we talk about intentional culture here, Tom, and we often like to talk about the bad stuff, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to talk about companies that have virtually no turnover. And I only know personally of two such companies. One of them happens to be a mobile home park operator. Why would they have no turnover? We'll talk about that. And the other one is a nail, like doing your nails. I smashed my fingernails, so I actually put nail polish on it to hide the black. And there's a company that distributes nail products and beauty products worldwide. And they have almost no turnover. In fact, they recently had 2 people retire, and the president of the company was lamenting that he had to hire for the first time in 6 years. Now, why, Tom, do you think that these 2 companies don't have turnover?
It's a great question. I would generally look at 2 things. One is people actually enjoy going to work. So it's meeting work is a positive emotional energy experience. Doesn't mean the job's all fun. It doesn't mean the work isn't hard. It doesn't mean you might not have stressful customers who want to be mad at you or yell at you. But it means that the way the work has been set up is very emotionally rewarding for the people involved in doing the work. And so they're not emotionally drawn to leave the relationship. A little bit like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife.
Yeah, absolutely true. And there's one other thing.
They're being paid well enough that for the emotional reward they're getting, the idea of going and making a little bit more money somewhere else doesn't sound like a win at all. It just sounds like risk. I could get a little raise, but I'm being paid well enough. My needs are met. I'm happy with my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, no one is enticing me away to work in some unknown situation.
True story. And in fact, they're in both cases, they're being paid a lot more than other people doing their jobs. They're being overpaid.
Yeah.
And to highlight the benefit of overpaying people, you have to look a little at the alternative. And my favorite example of that is the mobile phone companies. Because mobile phone companies and cable companies do this too. They will incentivize you to sign up. They will give you a great deal to sign up. And then they will treat you like crap. And so you're actually incentivized to switch and get a better deal. And the whole industry is built around treating customers badly. And if everybody does that, then everyone will be happy to switch for a few bucks. So they basically, it's like the reverse of this, but the principle is the same, which is it costs a lot of money to attract new customers. Because A, you're giving them a discount, and B, you're doing all this advertising and marketing to get their attention so that when they finally do decide it's time to switch, they switch to you. And when you look at the cost of all of that, you have to ask yourself, why not, instead of worrying about having churn, why not just treat your customers well and give them a good deal so that they, A, feel good about where they are, and B, don't want to leave for a couple bucks, as you said.
I'm going to push back a little on this because although I think the question is accurate, I think it's a very different calculus when you do this with customers than when you do this with employees. I can understand the crossing over lines for doing this with customers. You can do the math and see sometimes why you might literally be better off charging your loyal customers more and only trying to recover them at the point where they cancel their subscription. I'm not saying this is a good model or a moral model. I'm just saying I can understand the math. I think the math with employees never works. I don't get it at all. I think your statement, and you reminded me of something my grandfather said to my father, and you'll love his phrasing: always pay your staff a little bit more than they think they're worth.
Yeah.
That was his method of not having turnover.
Right. And here's the funny thing about both of these companies. They both excel at what they do. So their customers love them. And so they're profitable. They're very profitable, both companies. And one of the reasons that you can be so profitable when you have low turnover is you got a bunch of people who really know what they're doing. And really,
it works with intentional culture.
Yes.
Because they're all focused on making the culture better, which includes improving finances, improving customer retention, including customer profit. They're involved in the business.
Yeah.
And making it great and making it a great place to work and making it profitable. Yeah.
And everybody is clear about why they're there, what their goals are. You don't have like new people coming in and thinking they got, they're gonna make their mark by doing something extraordinary that is completely out of alignment with the rest of the organization, but we'll get them noticed.
So I knew of an exceptional retention rate at one of my clients. And the client ran a call center. If you know anything about call centers, their typical turnover is like 50% a year. This call center had a turnover of 4% a year. And that was almost always someone's spouse moving. And
Right.
This was back in the day when you had to be in the call center.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't know that that maybe has gone away now. And their whole business model was built around a new customer showing up for the first appointment. And the person who was going to adopt that new customer and guide them to that appointment and call them and remind them and cajole them and encourage them to go was in the call center. And the people in that call center earns 2 to 3 times what someone would make in a typical call center. and they were the linchpin to the business.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing you can imagine a private equity firm buying them and firing them all.
Right. And thinking how clever they were for saving
Look at
all
all the
that
money
money.
we're saving.
And then 6 months later, they're like, where'd all the customers go?
Why is no one showing up for appointments?
Yeah. Well, Whole Foods Market is a great example of somebody who bought an organization that was incredibly well run and then decided to undo all the things that made it so incredibly well run, little by little. And it's it's funny how brands can endure sometimes long after their meaning has left the building. Amazon.
But there's almost a study in that among big brands, especially in restaurants and food service.
Yeah.
Where ultimately the founders age out, die. If the family doesn't take it over with the same mindset, it gets sold to private equity. And you and I could riff down a list of maybe 20 names.
Yeah.
Where it's not like the founders failed. The founders, they failed if their goal was to leave a legacy of the name of their business. If their goal was just to cash out, they succeeded.
Right.
If their goal was to leave a legacy of their business, they really did fail.
Yeah.
And it's almost the norm. Like 98% of the time, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And these ideas get undercut. What the people running those businesses, do those practices survive? And I'm guessing, but I think I know in one case, the founder's still there, or the son of the founder. Does it survive ultimately a private sale?
In both cases, the founder is still around.
Yeah.
Still.
You and I have our founders rule. We love working with founders. Why? Because you can have this conversation with a founder. It's not only just a mental calculus, it's a business calculus, it's a moral calculus. And they're like, well, I would love to work in a place where people really want to work there.
Yeah. And the thing you see, there's always trade-offs. If you chronically underpay people, you can invest in a really good training program to bring people up to speed and indoctrinate them into your culture very rapidly. And that's an expense. So
you can systematize your practice, right?
Right.
You can if you aggressively ceremonialize the work, which we talk about.
Yeah.
It also makes it easier to bring in and train new people.
Right.
I guess McDonald's is maybe the ultimate sort of expression of that.
Right. But building, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to capture tribal knowledge. And this is something that very few, if any, business consultants or coaches talk about in a positive way. They very often talk about it in a negative way, like, oh, you got to get rid of tribal knowledge, as if somehow that's something you could do. You can't, because it's continuity. It's like what makes us us. What makes me Tom Bellinson is my continuity. I've been in this body with this brain my whole life, never once interrupted. Everything that's happened to Tom Bellinson, I've been there. I witnessed it. There's no way I could document it all. It's not possible. So I have tribal knowledge of Tom Bellinson that no one else is ever going to have. They can't. Even if I wore a camera and my glasses and the AI recorded every single thing I did, it wouldn't capture all the thoughts in my head and all the everything that's happened that I've perceived. And that's the same with employees.
A lot of what we do is that, isn't it? It's ways to increase tribal knowledge and awareness and how you structure and run the business. And given that humans, it's a key part of what helps people be happy and want to. It's part A, why they, even if the work is hard and or the customers aren't always pleasant, or you're dealing with hard scenarios or dirty work. I like that guy who did the show Dirty Jobs. Like you can, all of that could be true. And if you feel part of a tribe and you feel like you're working together as a team, even if you're going off and working alone a long point of the time, you could still generate that feeling, and you will be more attached and bound to your work, and you will be developing tribal knowledge. Yeah.
It's a powerful thing, and if you're dealing with turnover, I don't recommend you deal with it by getting better at turnover. I recommend you deal with it with getting better at retaining employees.
I'm going to be slightly contradictory, but not entirely. I believe these actually go hand in hand. Like if you get better at really retaining employees, I believe you'll get better at handling new employees, because you'll have developed tribal systems and behaviors that will actually make it easier to hire.
You're probably right about that.
So, which is cool. It's just part of it. The one person who's like, I'm happy I haven't had to hire in X years. 2 people retired. They probably weren't aggressively scaling the business. But the other business, the one I was talking about, they were aggressively scaling the business. I know the second business you talk about is aggressively grown most of its whole life. This works whether you're scaling or whether you're happy with your size.
Well, in the case of those guys, they actually have scaled the business back
Yeah.
because the industry changed over
Yeah.
time, and what worked 15 years ago would be a disaster now.
Yeah.
And they adapted. Whenever the market changed, the founder was able to see what was happening and make adjustments. And a lot of people that loved their job there, he had to let them go because he just couldn't justify them being there anymore.
Yeah.
Under the current conditions.
So the world changes all the time.
Right.
And yeah, great questions. And I got close, I think, to a good answer for your second, but I think yours was better, which is pay them so much that no one else can hire them, but you've so optimized the system that you don't feel like you're overpaying for them at all.
Make more profits.
Yeah.
Do a better job than everybody else with better people.
And that's really what my call center did. They're paying people 3 times market rate. Why? Because they were worth it.
There may be another company that provides pet products online, but I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Because Chewy is a joy to work with. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how they may have high turnover, but I would be very surprised if that's true. My guess is they have very low turnover for the same reasons, because you can't run a company that well with a bunch of new people.
Maybe a longer term direction for our podcast is get some of our favorite businesses, get executives on there to talk about what they're doing.
It's actually a near term thing, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm planning it. It's in the works.
Good.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We don't ask you to subscribe to our channel at the beginning of our podcast, as many people do. But we will ask you now, if you're still here and you haven't subscribed, please do that, because we absolutely want to talk with you, and we want to have an opportunity to share our knowledge with you. I know in my heart it's useful stuff. And feel free to give us a like or a comment below. And most importantly, If we can be of help to you, reach out to us at beintentional.biz. We have a website there. It's not much, but Tom and I are working on an exciting new one.
There's a
coming
new one
your
on the
way.
GitHub.
That's right.
We
It's
haven't pushed it yet.
That's right. Claude hasn't finished with it yet. Until next time, this is Tom.
And Tom.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.